We think of air as something we breathe, but what if I told you that in Japan, it's also something you read? Today, we're going to dive into this amazing concept called kuki wo yomu. And trust me, getting a handle on this can totally change the game for your conversations with any Japanese speaker. All right, so here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll decode Japan's invisible social rulebook. Then, we'll get into the whole high context culture thing that makes this all possible. We'll also touch on the not so great side of it, the intense pressure to conform. And then, I'll set you up with everything you need to chat about this yourself. So let's just start with this question right here. We all know air is for breathing, but what if it were also for reading? It sounds kind of weird, right? But in Japan, that's exactly it. The air in a room, the whole vibe, it's packed with meaning that you're just supposed to get, no words needed. Okay, first up, Japan's invisible rules. Let's really get into what it means to understand the atmosphere. So, kukyo yomo literally means to read the air. And it's this incredible skill of just knowing what isn't being said. You know that feeling like you're in a meeting and everyone's nodding and smiling, but you can just feel that nobody actually agrees? Or you're at a party and suddenly the energy shifts and you just know, okay, it's time to leave. That's it. And in Japan, this isn't just a nice to have skill. It's a huge deal. It's a sign that you're socially intelligent. Honestly, if you're not used to it, it can feel like everyone's communicating telepathically, like they're all on the same invisible radio wave or something. But it's not magic, of course. It's a skill that's taught and learned from a really young age, all in the service of keeping things running smoothly, of maintaining that all-important group harmony. So how does this social telepathy, that's not actually telepathy, work? Well, it all comes down to a really cool idea from cultural anthropology. It's all about something called context. So you have low context cultures, think the US or Germany, where what you say is what matters. You're direct, you're explicit. But then you have high context cultures, like Japan. And here, oh man, here the unspoken stuff, the shared history, the nonverbal cues, that's often way more important than the actual words coming out of someone's mouth. There's this fantastic Japanese proverb that just nails it. Hearing one to understand 10. It means you're only given one piece of the puzzle verbally, and you're expected to figure out the other nine from the air, from the context. And get this, if you have to spell everything out, it can actually be seen as a bit clumsy or unrefined. Think about it. Silence. In a lot of Western conversations, a long pause can feel super awkward, right? Like someone has to jump in and say something. But in Japan, silence is powerful. It's not empty space, it's a moment where the real communication is happening, where everyone is busy reading the air to figure out what's really going on. Okay, so this system of group harmony sounds great in theory, but it's not perfect. There's a flip side. This constant pressure to read the air, it has a dark side, a really stressful one actually. And you can pretty much sum up that dark side with two letters, KY. This little bit of slang blew up in the late 2000s, and it's a label you really don't want. So what's KY? It stands for Kuki ga yomenai, literally can't read the air. It's what you'd call someone who's just clueless. They tell the wrong joke at the wrong time, they don't pick up on the vibe, you know the type. And being called KY in Japan, that's not a lighthearted jab, it's a serious criticism. And it's the fear of being seen as coward that creates this huge social pressure. It's not just about being embarrassed for a second. It's seen as a signal that you can't play on the team, that you don't fit in. And that can have real-world consequences for your social life and even your career. So this fear of being KY flows right into another big concept, peer pressure, or doshu atsuryoku in Japanese. Because nobody wants to be that person, people often just keep their opinions to themselves. They don't want to rock the boat. You can see how in a business meeting, for example, this could be a real problem, right? It can totally kill creativity and shut down new ideas before they even have a chance. All right, so we've gone through the good, the bad, and the theory. Now for the fun part. Let's get you ready to actually talk about this. I'm going to give you some amazing conversation starters for your next language exchange. Here's a fantastic place to start. Just ask about their own culture. Is it more high context or low context? What about in their own family? Are there unspoken rules that everyone just gets? And here's another great one. Talk about silence. Ask them, when there's a quiet moment in a conversation, does it make you feel awkward? It's amazing how much you can learn about a culture just from how people answer that one question. And if you want to go really deep, ask this.
In your country, what's valued more, keeping the group happy or expressing your own individual ideas? Just a heads up, this one can lead to a seriously fascinating conversation. And of course, to make sure you're totally prepared, here's a little cheat sheet. We've got the key vocabulary you'll need. Think of Kukio Yomu as reading the room, and you're already on the right track. So look, the next time you're talking with someone, just remember this. You're not just swapping words, you're swapping worlds. Be curious. Don't be afraid to ask these kinds of questions. It's honestly one of the coolest things you can do.